not anything seriously at all, kind of that watermelon thing. In 1996, my mother was diagnosed with metastatic breast cancer, and the diagnosis was she was going to live 22, or about 2 years. She actually lived 22 months out of that. So in January of 1996, I decided I was going to start taking singing lessons. Good. I can't even tell you why. But I went in there once a week, and she died in September of 1996. I went in there once a week, and I screamed at him for an hour, which he allowed me to do. It had to be really frightening for him, because it wasn't singing.
And you do need to scream.
Yes.
I heard it at the beginning, y'all. It was great. So yes.
So scream. Woo. Yeah. But it was therapy, and he understood that it was something that I needed. So I went through that. My mother passed in 1996. My grandmother, or my best friend, 11 months later. My grandmother, another 3 months later. My stepdad, another 6 months. My uncle, within that period. And my little sister, through the Puget Sound Big Sister, was bludgeoned to death during that period too. Altogether, there were 6 people that died within a 1.5 year period.
Okay, so I have to stop you there. So 6 people who are close to you.
Yes, very close.
These are not like extended relatives.
Right.
Close people and friends in a 1.5 years. To the normal person, or I would say average person, that would cut your song out altogether. Like, there is no song, there is nothing to sing, I don't have a voice, I'm heartbroken. And so how did that heartbreak translate into song for you?
It was a difficult journey. It was nothing easy, and that's why I say, y'all don't hear me. God was in that, because there were so many times that I thought, what are you thinking? This don't even sound good. You need to go someplace and not do this. It had to be God. What else could it possibly be? To keep me on that journey and that path to say, you need this, but not only do you need this, somebody else needs this too. So I also credit that with keeping me from losing my mind, basically.
Let's talk about that. When you say keep you from losing your mind, what does that mean? What would losing your mind look like?
Well, those people were the fabric of my life. And so they were torn out of my life. Large holes were torn out of my life. And when I tell you I was broken, I mean that I was really broken. Prayer, therapy, that's one of the things. Y'all go sit down and talk to somebody.
Yes.
Because there were times that I felt like I simply could not put one foot in front of the other once again. I needed some help to do that. And that was helpful too.
Yeah, I think that's the piece that people don't understand.
Yeah.
So the way that you present today, it's not how you always felt. And in the privacy of your own home and your own safety, falling apart happened.
Right.
Not
And
being able to
again,
move happened.
that support system, where I could go to somebody that in that support system and say, you know what, today is hard. I'm having trouble getting through today. How are you dealing with mom's death today? Or here's what I'm feeling, and having that person be able to say, here's how I'm dealing with it, or it's okay. So those relationships mean so much to me.
Okay. So you continue to sing throughout this process.
Yes.
Going to the weekly classes, and you have not yet had an actual gig outside of classes. So what? Because I think what we all deal with is the fear of how to present to the public this thing that we feel in our hearts. So those of us who are musicians, or maybe you have a special gift with children, whatever that might be, what was it that helped you to move from it being an internal thing that you know to being able to present it outwardly? And not being afraid to, or not being afraid to be judged or critiqued.
Don't fool yourself. Being afraid was part of it.
Okay.
Being afraid was a huge part of it. As a matter of fact, so much fear that the performance anxiety is what they call it.
Okay.
So I dealt with that along the way too, but again, I knew I had to push through it. I knew, something in me knew that I had to push through it, because it was something, and a friend of mine who's a singer said to me, girl, when you can finally open up your mouth and sing, you're gonna really bless people. So I clung on to that and knew that there was something I needed to do and say.
Okay. So tell me about that first gig. Where was it at? What did you feel like? Was there anybody in the audience?
Stop playing, my family was there.
Okay.
They were up there cutting. So it was a place over on Jackson, little nightclub, and
Wait, Christians go to nightclubs?
I said my family.
Oh, okay. Not sure about that.
So it was great. It was a good effort. It was very frightening, very scary.
Yeah.
But I got on the other side, and a friend of mine said to me one day, she said, "You got through it. You didn't die." It's like, yeah, okay, that's true.
You remember what you're saying?
Mm-mm.
Okay. And so what was the feedback that your family had for you post?
Keep working on it.
You gotta love them, right?
Yeah, okay.
Those people that are honest with you,
That's
though,
right.
right? They want you to be better.
Gotta love it.
So keep working on it. And then, how in that moment did you think